The MTA of New York City is in the midst of a large modernization effort to keep the New York area's transit up to date. In today's video, we'll look at how the MTA plans to go into the future. We'll start off with general improvements to the New York City subway. The MTA will be replacing old mechanical signals on the Broadway, Liberty Avenue, and Rockaway lines with the newer communication-based train control, also known as CBTC. In addition, they plan to upgrade 60 substations that power the third rail electric system, which powers the subway cars themselves. 60 stations will be made ADA accessible, along with 40 elevator replacements. 10 stations will be fully renovated, over 100 stations will get fencing along with fiber optic cable upgrades, and 150 stations will benefit from new fare gates. Moving on to fleet upgrades, the MTA will rebuild the Livonia and 240th Street shops in order to better maintain the new fleet of 1,500 subway cars to replace older ones. Upgrades to bridges and tunnels across the subway will also be implemented, and they also plan to start the Interborough Express, which is basically a service to cut travel times between Brooklyn and Queens and reduce cars on the road. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Long Island Railroad and their rolling stock. They'll be replacing the M3 rail cars with the newer M9s, and this replacement has actually already started. In addition, the Hillside Maintenance Facility in Queens is going to see some much needed upgrades, as it hasn't seen any since it opened in the 80s. The LIRR is also going to be making 4 new stations ADA accessible, and in terms of electrification, which I'm pretty stoked for, they'll be electrifying the main line to Yaphank, along with general improvements to the Montauk and Port Jefferson branches. Speaking of these branches, electrification to the Port Jefferson branch in particular has also been looked at, along with general electrification of the LIRR, but none of this is set in stone as a real plan yet, but anything's possible. Meanwhile, on Metro North, the MTA will be replacing the Genesis-based P32 AC-DM locomotives with the Charger-based SC42DM locomotives, with dual power in order to run north of Crow and Harmon Station. Rebuilding the Grand Central Artery is also on the list, along with upgrading the trackage on the Hudson line to be more fortified from landslides. Stations along the system will also be given general upgrades, especially on the Harlem line, along with 2 stations getting ADA accessibility. A third track is going to be added on the Harlem line, along with bringing the Hudson line into Penn Station.
It's all aboard the move that could see trains running from Westchester and Connecticut into Penn Station.
The 358 Metro North train to Stamford pulled into the Harrison Station Thursday afternoon from Grand Central, like most trains on this line.
I'm jumping all around the city.
But for commuters like Camila de los Santos, who owns a tailoring business that requires her to be in different parts of Manhattan, a commuter train from Penn Station to Westchester in Connecticut would be life-changing.
Well, it's just a different side of the city. You don't have to directly transfer from the Metro North to the subway. So it's just an easier transition for most people.
Camila may have to wait another few years, but the MTA board has approved the purchase of 13 battery-powered passenger locomotives along the New Haven line, some of the first trains of its kind in the country.
The New Haven line customers who want to go to the west side of Manhattan or lower Manhattan, as you say, that's going to be a really good option for them. But the other exciting part of the project is the construction of stations in the Bronx that are not currently served by commuter rail.
Yes, the MTA says 4 new stations will be built in the Bronx, including Parkchester, Van Ness, and Co-op City. The current trains that run on electrical power aren't configured to serve Penn Station, but with battery-powered trains and those new stations set to be built, a faster, more efficient commute for some is near.
It's also a cleaner and greener alternative for the communities that are going to be served by the new service.
So yeah, Metro North plans to expand into Penn Station. With the Long Island Railroad extension to Grand Central with the Grand Central Madison program, this allowed for Metro North commuters to travel onto Long Island through Grand Central and vice versa. With Metro North coming to Penn Station, it will not only connect more LIRR trains, but also the wider Amtrak Northeast Corridor, with regionals as far north as Boston and Springfield, Massachusetts, and as far south as Richmond and Norfolk, Virginia, along with other services up to New England and Canada and down south, including Florida. In addition to these Amtrak services, it will also connect Metro North to New Jersey Transit, which serves the greater New Jersey region with destinations from the Jersey Shore to the New York border and north accessible via Secaucus Junction. Groundbreaking took place in 2022, with the expected opening date is 2027, but this is still to be determined. And with that, this is most of the modernization that the MTA plans to do.